that we did not film was probably one of the most important lectures, but it also doesn't matter too much if you didn't see it. And I tried to babble about why yesterday, but this book chooses to jump from last chapter directly into the major scale. Not a bad idea. The major scale is the first one we should study. There's no question about that. However, I wanted to give you some idea of where the major scale came from and where it came from, you know, those kinds of things. And so that really was a non-scheduled discussion about modes and scales. And if you didn't get to see it on the video, it's okay, because we're starting right in on major scales now, and you'll be okay. You could, indeed, if you missed yesterday's lesson, you could just randomly look up on Google scales and modes, and you would probably, and assuming that you would read everything that came up, then you would probably also hear just about everything I said yesterday. So if you were more interested in what I said yesterday than just what it pertains to in terms of the major scale, you could also look that up on Google, and you could go farther along there. Okay, we're on page 84 now. The first thing we have to scrapple with before we get into the actual major scale is writing ascending and descending chromatic scales. There's really only three things you need to remember. You need to remember that we will never use an E sharp, a B sharp, an F flat, or a C flat in any chromatic scale. There's really no need for it. Okay? Remember, the early food is breakfast cereal. E and F are going to be either naturals or, well, let me just say, we're not going to sharp the E or the B or flat the F or the C from early food is breakfast cereal in a chromatic scale. If you do, you're going to foul up. Most of the time when people accidentally write an E sharp, the next thing they write is an F. And that's the reason we don't do that, because it is so easy for you to foul up. The next note after E sharp is actually F sharp. F is the same note as E sharp, and your chromatic scale has come to a screeching halt when you have the same note twice. Okay? That's one thing you just have to remember. The second thing that you have to remember is when you're going up the scale, you use sharps. And the last thing you have to remember is when you're going down the scale, you use flats. And now you know everything you need to know about chromatic scales. And let's see if we really know that. We're going to start over here with Matthew. And he's going to tell us the second note where it says ascending scale. We're going to write an F chromatic scale. Would you, and we're going up, would you give me the next note?
Okay. Hey, F sharp.
That's right. And Sam?
G.
Right. And Key?
A. Or G sharp?
G sharp. Very good.
Yeah.
And Ryan?
A.
And Chris?
A sharp.
A sharp. And Noah? B. And Doc?
C.
And James?
C sharp.
And Josh?
E.
And Kyle? And Liz? E. And Matthew?
F.
F. That's right. I was depending on Matthew not to say E sharp because, remember, we don't use E sharps. Very good. That's the ascending form. Let's do an ascending in bass clef, and that just worked out perfectly. So it's really Matt's turn again, since we're absolving Daniel of all responsibilities.
A sharp.
A sharp is the second one. Good. B.
B sharp. No. B sharp. C.
C. Very good.
C sharp.
C sharp. D. D sharp. E. F. F sharp. G. G sharp is right.
No, it's right.
A. Very good. Okay. We have done two ascending scales All in favor of saying that we are proficient, say aye.
Aye.
Good.
Motion's passed.
Descending scales now. Remember, the word sharp should never leave your lips. Okay? The word sharp should not leave your lips. We're starting with D. Matthew, what's the second going down now?
Where? D flat.
D flat.
C.
C?
C flat? I don't know this.
That's right.
B.
B.
Here we go.
That's right.
I need to remember this.
A.
That's,
Oh, what?
you said B last, so you would say
D flat.
B flat. A flat. G. G flat. F.
D.
Did you say D? E. Sorry. E.
Can you have it?
E flat. There we go. D. Very good. All right. And finally, A flat. Then what, Matt?
G.
G.
G flat.
G flat. F.
E.
E.
B flat.
E flat. D. D flat. C.
D.
B.
B flat.
B flat. A. A flat. Very good. All right. We've done two descending chromatic scales now. All in favor of saying we are proficient, say aye.
Aye.
Nay.
That was so easy. All right. Right now.
List.
And just to make sure that the key is following, we never have an F flat or C flat.
Yeah,
And
we
you wrote it down, all right. And we never have an E sharp or B sharp, right? All right. Now, the elements of the major scale, very simple. I would like it if your brain would do something for me whenever the word major scale is mentioned, if the words 3, 4, and 7, 8 would just pop up. It would be really nice, okay? So every time I say major scale, you should be thinking 3, 4, 7, 8. And what that is a formula. That is why we don't have to play everything in the key of C major. All right? Of course, the key of C major, we play them all on the white keys, and it sounds like C major, but sometimes it's just really nice to play in F major, and when we still remember that 3 and 4 is a half step and 7 and 8 is a half step, we can start on any note. There's 3, so the next one has to be a half step, which is a B flat. There's 7, so the next one has to be a half step. Okay? 3, 4, 7, 8. Just try to get that in your mind so that it happens every time. Now let's talk about transposing those major scales. You can do it in an enjoyable fashion. Let's see. We have a couple of bands here, don't we? We have Everything Else and Fire. No, not Fire. Fuma. Yes. Do we have it? And Conquering Gravity. Is that right?
Close enough.
I always thought it was Concrete Gravity. And
It's also close enough.
okay.
Well, that's
All right,
probably
well-
C.
Let's use Fuma. Noah's got a band going. And are you the lead singer? Yeah. Okay. Noah's got a band going, and Noah likes to write in the key of C, and because that just really works with his voice or works with his guitar chords or something, but he likes the key of C. He's written all of these songs in the key of C, but alas, he has come down with a cold, and they have a gig tonight, and for some reason he can't even croak. Can't sing it tonight. But they